Gabriela is a journalist and a PhD applicant at the Program for Latin American Studies at the University of São Paulo. She's also the director of the National Association of Postgraduate Students and a member of the Union for Socialist Youth. So Gabriela, please go ahead.
First, I would like to thank the invite very much and the patience for me doing the translation. I don't do this very often. But a few things I would like to say. I guess Walter has presented a very important scenario. So which was the promise of Lula's government, which are our expectations and which are our challenge coming to this new situation. We know that Brazil has been inserted in a very right agenda. Since the last 6 years, we had 2 years of government from President Temer after the coup against the President Dilma. And then we had 4 years of completely destruction of the country and its democratic institutions, its relationships with other countries and with different groups, organizations, which was done during Bolsonaro's government. So Lula starts its government with so many challenges in its hands and so many demands from different social groups and from different parts of the society. And as Walter has said, this first month, it has been a very important for us to understand which are Lula's plan of action, I guess. Before the election in November, after the election, actually in November, December, we would talk with analysts and people were divided. Was going to Lula be more conservative and try to have a government in which he would negotiate more and maybe don't be as radical? And this was pointed out maybe by the chosen vice president, which is from he was from a right-wing party. And so people was kind of expecting that maybe Lula was not going to be as radical as some of the people wish. But especially after the attempt of coup on January 8th, we're seeing a government very ambitious to show its side with democracy, with the institutions, and with justice. I think something that is very important that happened after the attempt of coup was the rapidly start of investigations of those involved. So the government has already identified some of the people who have the buses who went to Brasilia, because I don't know if everyone knows, there were thousands of people and they traveled there and they would stay camping in front of military bases and they would have food and it was almost a party. Sometimes there was a lot of filmings of the situations and these camping outs that they were doing. And they are already starting to identify who are those people who financial those groups, and including to make a link to something that Sai said it earlier. Many of those financialists, they are from the rich rural people from Brazil, which points how Bolsonarismo is a political force which is very connected to the exploitation of the forests and to the destruction of the indigenous peoples in Brazil. We have recently seen has come to public the situation of the Yanomami indigenous groups in Brazil, which are suffering a true genocide through famine and the exploitation of the forest, and they have seen their social structures completely destroyed during the last 4 years, and they have lost hundreds of children, and it's a very sad and urgent situation which has been very rapidly addressed by the government and it's a renewed minister for indigenous people. So I guess this is a few of the things which are very interesting for us to observe in this first month. So the rapidly address of the Yanomami situation, and also to go to a more international scenario, which is a thing that I studied more, and also Walter has. Yes, Lynn is asking if rich people live in rural regions. The thing we have in Brazil is that we have large territories, basically territories. They're bigger than many cities, and they are owned by one person, and they are done as monoculture. I don't know if you say the same thing in English. Mostly to raise cattle and to plant soy. And this is a primary form of exploitation of the land, and most of it is for exportation. So we have a problem of disindustrialization in Brazil because we have this primary exploration and we don't have the industrial and the development, and which would lead to the sovereignty that Walter talked about with us. And so this first address of Lula, they are very important for us to understand where is he going with his government. I think what second thing, besides investigating the coup, besides investigating the Yanomami situation, I think it is his recently traveled to Argentina and Uruguay. He went to the 7th encounter of the CELAC, which is the Community of Latin America and Caribbean States. And there we could see a very progressive Lula, which we were afraid that it was not going to be shown. He used his time to speak, his discourses. He defended the sovereignty of all Latin American countries. So we could see he's defending Cuba and speaking against the bloc from the United States. He also defended the sovereignty of Venezuela to make its own decisions, to respect its own politics, and to do its own politics. It was also very important that he supported regional integrations, institutions to regional integration. The first one, which is Mercosul, which is very important because it's the way that the biggest economies of Latin America and South America actually could come together and work at the development of its countries. So, and also he has expressed his objective. He wants to refound UNASUL, which is another very important organization for Latin America, which can provide a lot of political bridges between countries and exchange of science, of industries, and many other key points to the development sovereignty of the region, which we would start to fight this dependence that we have with other countries, especially with USA and other Western countries, which have had so much more space to take from Latin America in the last 4 years, as the biggest economy, which is Brazil, was completely emerged in the Bolsonaro's government, and was seeing not only its political institutions but also its economy being destructed. And then I think the novelty, the big news we have now, is the announce of a possible common coin between Argentina and Brazil, which would be called SUR. As many people haven't really understood the situation, but it would be a second currency. It wouldn't be like the primary currency, neither from Brazil or Argentina. It would be a second currency to facilitate the economic exchanges between the countries.
It would be a common currency to settle trade imbalances.
Yes, so the dollar would not determine anymore the trades between Argentina, Brazil, and maybe other countries from Mercosul. And so I think, to sum up, I have thinking my 10 minutes. that I agree with Walter that we've seen many progressive acts from Lula in this first month, which give us very much hope that this next 4 years, we're going to see the demands of social movements and our needs in international politics attended. And I guess we have a very challenging but promised scenario ahead of us.
I'm Michael Hudson. I'm appearing here for the International Manifesto Group. If you like this video and ones like it, please subscribe. For more information, go to the address on the screen.